Hag Sameach, everyone. Happy Lag BaOmer. Great to be with you. This today, I still say today, but really it was yesterday. It feels the past 24 hours feel like an entire week. But it's amazing to be here. What a blessing, what a merit to get to have this connection, this study on the day of Rabbi Shimon, on the day of Lag BaOmer. And I actually these sections from yesterday and today I find are incredibly beautiful, very powerful, and very much appropriate for the messages related to Lag BaOmer. So let's begin by setting our intention. Every day when we study the Zohar, every day when we make a connection, we know we're plugging into the tree of life, consciousness, tree of life, reality. And as Michael Berg shared with us, that the reality of perfection already exists. We just need to uncover it. And that's also what we said yesterday, on paragraph 68, that the light is always created before the darkness. The solution always comes before the problem or the challenge, that the cure always comes before the illness. So the light is already here. The reality of peace, the reality of perfection, blessings already exists. It's our job to reveal it. And that's what the Zohar helps us do. So every day when we make our connection to the Zohar, we are revealing. Right? I like this word. I don't know if it's in other languages, but the word discover. It's when you uncover something, right? Or in Portuguese is descobrir. You're revealing, you're uncovering what's already there. So that's what we want to do when we are connected to the Zohar. We're revealing that reality of perfection. We're revealing the inner perfection within us. We're revealing the Ora Ganuz, the concealed light. We're connecting to this reality of the perfection of our soul. And of course, especially today on Lag BaOmer, on the 33rd day of the Omer, on the day of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, on the day of Hod Shebehod, the fifth day of the fifth week, we're connecting to the great light, all the light of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rav Ashlag in um, his his message that he gave at the end of when he completed the printing of the Zohar on Lag BaOmer, I think in 1953 or something around then, in Meron, he took a small group of students and he explained that Rabbi Shimon has the his soul, the light of his soul, encompasses all 125 levels of every soul. And it gives us the opportunity, it gives us the ability to connect to wherever we are on our process. It supports us on that journey. Wherever the world is in this process of correction, we manage to grab a hold onto. It's like he gives example of like a rope or a life raft when someone is grabbing a hold and that pulls them in. So that's the light that's available today. It's a light that is out of this world, and hopefully all the work, right? I've been thinking a lot about this. Like we're here every day or as often as we can, and it's almost like every day that we're connecting to the Zohar is really just to give us an appreciation and a vessel to receive the light today, right? It's like all the light of the Zohar is revealed today. Every day leading up to today has just been a preparation for the light available today. And then today we want to take that light into the year. So, because our appreciation of the Zohar determines how much of the Zohar we reveal and how much we receive. So every day, hopefully, our appreciation is growing, our connection is growing, and that way we can receive so much more. So we're meditating through our connection to the Zohar, especially on Lag BaOmer, especially the week of Hod, connecting to Aaron, the high priest, especially through the Zohar, which is a revelation of love, that we are awakening more love within ourselves and the world, that we're just unleashing endless love through the light of the Zohar to all of us and the whole world. And with the prayer of the Ari, deep appreciation. This is we've already been doing the daily Zohar for 2.5 years, approximately, and I have no question that it's one of the greatest blessings of my life, and I don't know kind of what merit I've been given to get to do this, but it's really something special that we get to do this every day, and that there's so many of us, and we're growing. So many of us are connecting. It must be. And I don't think it's because of me or you specifically. I think, like we said, the Creator chooses people to do things, and hopefully we have the merit to continue to be chosen. So I thank the Creator for choosing me to help facilitate these, and with the blessing of Rabbi Shimon and all the tzaddikim and all the Kabbalists, we have the blessing to continue another year of connection to the Zohar and helping more and more people connect to this great light. With deep appreciation, opening our hearts with the prayer of the Ari, and to help us connect to this great light, open our hearts for this connection. ריבון העולמים ואדוני האדונים אב הרחמים וסליחות מודים אנחנו לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו בקידה ובשתחווה שקרבתנו תורתך ולאבותיך הקודש ונתת לנו חלק בשדות תורתך הקדושה מה נאמר חיינו שעשיתי עמנו חסד גדול כזה. על כן אנחנו מפלים תחנוננו לפניך שתמיכו ותסלח לכל חטאותינו ועוונותינו ואל יהיו עוונותינו מבדילים בינינו לבניך. וכן יעזו בפניך אדוני אלוהינו ולאבותינו שתכונן את לבבינו ליראתך ולאהבתך ותקשיב אוזנך להתבונן ותפתח לבבינו הערה בשדות תורתך ויהיה לבני זה נחת רוח לפני חסך ותחייך ניחוח ותציל עלינו עומק כל נשמתנו וכל בחינתנו ושיתנוצצו ניצוצות עבדיך הקדושים אשר עיד גלית את דבריך בעולם וזכותם 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 לעמוד לנו מניבל נקשה בדברם וזכותם תאיר עינינו ומה שאנו לומדים כמאמר נאה מזמרות ישראל גל עיניו והביט נתיבו מתורתך כי אדוני ייתן חוכמה מפיו דעת ותבונה יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגרנים לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי. All right. So we just it might be more by now, but last time I updated it, we achieved 1% more of our goal. So we're now at 21,297, maybe a little more. I don't know if actually someone sent me a message that they donated some. So we're probably a little more, but we still have a long way to go. So we're doing great, and with everyone's support, we're gonna manage to complete the full amount to help print this new book by Michael Berg of the Daily Zohar book. So thank you guys so far for your support. And today is the most powerful day to make this contribution, make this connection. And whether you've given already or not, it's still a good idea, even to give whatever amount, even $1, $10, whatever it is, but just be a part of this, especially today on BaOmer. So you can use this link. It's also in the group chat for all of us to be a part of this. Even if you've already given a lot, or even if you don't have much to give, everyone on BaOmer wants to be a part of this connection. Okay, so here we are, paragraph 70. All right, here we go. So paragraph 70. Patach ve'amar. So this is a continuation of Rabbi Shimon's teaching. He began the explanation on paragraph 66, and now he's continuing with the revelations. He quotes a verse in Ecclesiastes, and we earlier, right? Remember, if you remember, we said that Rabbi Chia and Rabbi Yosef were speaking about how cryptic and how mysterious the sections in Kohelet are. So now the Zohar continues to uncover the secrets there. I don't remember where we said that. Maybe I mixed up, but I remember reading that recently. Either way, so this verse, if you translate it literally, it translates as see a life with a woman that you love. So the whole verse, and it's good to understand the verse before we go into the Zohar. Enjoy happiness with a woman that you love. All the fleeting days of life that have been granted to you under the sun. All your fleeting days, right? Repeats itself. For that alone is what you can get out of life and out of the means you acquire under the sun. Which basically means that there's a limited aspect of fulfillment that can come from there. But the Zohar, Rabbi Shimon is going to break this down according to the Sfirot and a much deeper understanding. So what does it mean? See a joyful life, or see a life that you live with a woman that you love. Come and see. This verse is all in the secret, a supernal secret, and we've explained this before. So don't, and the Zohar uses this phrase a lot. Don't take this verse literally. There are deep secrets about life in the spiritual realms that this verse is revealing. So now Rabbi Shimon is going to break down the verse. Here it translates enjoy happiness, but re'eh means to see, chaim means life. So see life. Ilin chaim de almadate. Here we're talking about a life of the world to come. The last thing we read in paragraph 69 was that Joseph was responsible, through him being a tzaddik, was responsible as he said in the Zohar, that's how the paragraph 69 ended. That Joseph was responsible, he was the channel of bringing them a connection to the world to come, giving them a connection to a spiritual, not just physical wealth, but also spiritual wealth, and this connection to the realm of Binah. So here also, it's saying in this verse, when it's talking about life, we're talking about this life of the world to come. And happy is the person who merits that connection to the world to come as they should. So then the Zohar continues, paragraph 71. What does it mean with a woman that you love? So here we're not talking about a physical woman. We're talking about the level called Knesset Israel, which represents the collective souls of humanity, state of perfection, the Nukva, the Malchut, the vessel. Begin devaktiv ahava. Because when it speaks about the Nukva, the Malchut, congregation of Israel, it refers to it with love. As it says, begin devaktiv ahava, dichtiv, as it says, ve'ahavat olam ahavticha. Oh, ahavtich, actually. So in Jeremiah it says, eternal love I conceived for you then. So when talking about the vessel, the Nukva, it's talking about the frame of love. Matai, when is this connection true? When is this reality of the perfected vessel, the Nukva, Knesset Yisrael, collection of souls of humanity? When is this connection of love present with the Nukva? When the right side, when the right side is holding her, meaning when the right side is awakened, the side of chesed, the side of mercy. Dichtiv al ken neshachtich chesed. That's why it says, therefore I continue my grace to you, which means therefore I've drawn mercy, grace, chesed, right column towards you. So that's, of course, the chesed we know is on the right column, as we know. Then the verse continues, and I know some of this is a little cryptic. Whenever the Zohar breaks down verses, sometimes it's hard to follow, but it's going to come together soon. And more than what we understand is really this light that we're revealing for ourselves in the world. All the fleeting days of life. What does that mean? In paragraph 72, begin de'ihi itkashlat b'chaim. So the Nukva, when is the Nukva called a when is the Nukva Malchut considered Knesset Yisrael, the collective souls of humanity in a state of perfection? Vashlaki reveals that it's when the Nukva is in a state of gadlut, in a state of greatness, in a state of maturity, in a state of perfection, or a higher state of being, consciousness. Begin de'ihi itkashlet b'chaim, because in that state, that's when she's connected to the realm of life, and life, it means the realm of Binah, which is the source of life. V'ihi olam dechayin sharyan be, because that is the reality, that is the realm, the world that life resides, in the realm of Binah. Da'almada, because this world, that world, la sharyan be chaim, Da'almada, this world, our limited reality, Lashayan bechaim, life cannot reside here in our reality of ups and downs. Begin inun tachat hashemesh, because our reality, the Nukva in an unperfected state, cannot hold light. The vessel does not have light of its own. Um, it needs to receive its light from the level above it. And that's why I think we have this. Um, that's why in the verse it says, all the days are granted to you under the sun. They're fleeting days under the sun because it represents a state that is not connected, where the sun and the moon are not connected, which represents the Zeir and Nukva are not connected. Because the Malchut, the vessel, needs to always receive from Zeir Anpin. And the lights of the sun do not reach our world, do not reach the vessel, the Malchut, in our world. And instead they're gone from this world since the destruction of the temple. So as we awaken in our consciousness at the beginning of our study, as Micha Berg awakened us, the light always exists. Does the light of the sun always shine? Yes, of course. But there are times when it reaches us on earth and times when it doesn't reach us on earth. Is the light of the sun always hitting earth at some point in some place? Yes. But for me, it doesn't exist. For me, at nighttime, the sun can be shining on the other side of the world, but for me, the sun doesn't reach me. It has to do with my vessel. So the Creator's endless light shines always. The question is, and that's what the destruction of the temple represents. The destruction of the temple represents the space between us as a vessel with the light. That the light of the endless light of the Creator cannot reside in our lives and in the world. Dichtiv, as it says, Chashach Hashemesh b'tzeto v'gomer. That's why it says in Isaiah that the sun shall be dark when it rises. Of course, the sun is not dark when it rises. The sun never changes. The Creator's light never changes. It's our perspective and our experience of it. What does it mean when it says that the sun goes up but it doesn't shine, or the sun shines dark? So it's like the light comes. The light elevates up above, and it doesn't shine down below. As it says, Hatzadik avad vegomer, and that's why it says in the verse that a righteous person perishes. Now, what does that mean here? Rav Ashlag explains the Yisod of Zeir Anpin, which represents the funnel of Zeir Anpin that allows the light to flow down into the Malchut, into the vessel. I know a lot of this is very technical, but don't worry, we are explaining a little bit. And we're gonna get to an easier section to understand very soon. The light, the Yisod of Zeir Anpin, is what allows the light to flow down below into our world, which is the Malchut, the Nukva, and therefore we have to draw that life force, that light from Binah, down into our world, and that's what the verse means when it says that the verse says, "See life with a woman that you love." It represents creating that flow of endless light from the realm of Binah down into our world, because just our reality, just our physical world, just our connection based on this world is like the moon that is empty on its own. A mastery of the physical world is still, and we're going to actually read from a few beautiful quotes. Hopefully, we'll get to them. The mastery of this physical world is really just the mastery of the 1%. So, in order to really experience life in this world, that's why eventually people come to spirituality and Kabbalah, because they might have everything they want physically, but they might have mastered as vessels of this physical world, but it doesn't have the life force of Binah that flows through it. And no matter how much you have, if there's no life in it, it's like a relationship without love, without fire, right? It's two people in a relationship, and maybe they act like a couple, and they they live like a couple, but if there's no light, if the light of the Creator is not, if the blessing of the Creator is not there, same with the business, everything on its own without a spiritual connection is going to be lacking, is dead in some way. That's why we always want to inject light. We always bring the light through our spiritual actions. Paragraph 73, continuing with the verse, Ki hu chelkecha b'chayim, What does it mean that it's your portion in this world? Dahu shimsha besihara uvinyan uvinan lemeal sihara b'shimsha b'shimsha besihara. So this represents the unification between the sun and the sun being level of Zeir Anpin, the moon being Malchut, because in the verse we said, Kihu chelkecha b'chaim. It is your portion, it is your part in life. It is your chelek is a part, chaim is life. So what is the chelek? Chelek, the portion represents, the part represents the Nukva, the Malchut, and life is the sun. So it's like the moon and the sun, they come together. And what needs to happen? What has to happen is the sun has to come onto the moon, and the moon has to come onto the sun. Meaning the light, they share one with the other. It's the Zeir Anpin with Malchut, Malchut with the Zeir Anpin. It's the full connection of both sides. For there not to be any separation between the masculine and feminine, for no separation between the light and the vessel. And that is our portion, that is our work. Our work as human beings, our work in this world is to make sure that through our actions, we cause the spiritual unification of the upper worlds. Leme'al beho le'al medate, in order to bring us to a place of the world to come, which is what basically our reality, the physical world, is a world of darkness. That it's a world of darkness with endless light that is concealed, and our job is by making these connections. Right? Think about it simply, like imagine you're in a room with 1,000,000 light bulbs, but none of them are plugged in. So the room is going to be dark while it has the potential to. It has all the electricity, it has all the power needed, it has all the light bulbs and everything. All they have to do is plug it in. Our job in this world is to just create those connections, to plug in the light bulbs, to plug in the lights, so the light that is already there can be experienced and shine on us in the world. 74. I don't know if that example really works well. That's just what came to mind now. If there are flaws in it, I apologize. 74. What does it say next in the verse? So the next verse in Ecclesiastes, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 10, beautiful verse. Everything that is in your power to do, do it with all of your might. Whatever is in your power, whatever is in your strength, whatever strength you have to do something, do it with all your might. Because there is no action, no reasoning, no learning, no wisdom in Sheol, which represents, it's like hell where you are going. Which means when you have strength, use your strength. When you can change, change. When you can share, share, because you won't always have that chance. And the Zohar here is going to reveal on a much deeper level what that means. We have to look carefully at this verse. When it says, do whatever you can, everything that's in your power to do, right? Everything you have in your power to do. Is there no? It's funny how it's phrased. Has the rod been spared? Right, maybe that's a good way. Or the tzuah is like a whip. Or does here it translates as, is there no longer any fear of punishment? Kloma here Rav says, Kloma she'ein od pachad miltzuah neshet. Is there no cause and effect? What does it mean? Whatever's in your power, do whatever you want. Basically, do whatever you want. There's no cause and effect. Obviously, that's not what the verse is saying here. Lemebad banash kol mad yachid. Should we really think that a person can do whatever they want and be able to do it? Is that really what the verse is saying here? Is that what King Solomon is teaching us? Ella, rather, the Zohar reveals something so beautiful. La'asod bechochacha ktiv, when it says to do it with your power, to do it with all of your might. What is all of your might? What is your strength? Where does your power come from? Ktiv mai bechochacha. What is your strength? What is your power? Da nishmate devanash. Your power, your strength, your might is your power of your soul. Di'ihi chela devanash. That is the power every single one of us has. That is our strength. That is our force. Lemiske bala almadein ula with that power of our soul, that is what merits us the world to come, this world and the world to come. Which means it is with the power of our soul. What brings us real blessings, real success? It is not being the most clever person. It is not being the most manipulative person. It is not being the most, smartest guy in the room, or, the person who can talk his way out of anything. Real blessings and success will always have to come from a place of soul. That is your power. That is your power. And our ego wants us to think that our ego is our power, and our all of our reactive ways and our coming from lack and our manipulation and everything, that's our power, our anger and the respect. None of that is power. The only power a person has is the power of their soul. That's where the tzaddikim are more powerful than anyone else in the world. I remember, I think about this often, and I plan to go much further than we're probably going to today. But I remember sitting in this was right before I moved to London, Rosh Hashanah before I moved to London. It was as often is in New York. There's the UN week before around the time of Rosh Hashanah or Sukkot. It's usually in September, and all the roads were closed because of all the the world leaders that are in New York, and they're at the UN and everything. And then for we had a special gathering, a special meeting with all the teachers, all the chevra, with Karen Berg and Michael Berg and Monica Berg and all the teachers around the world. And I realized as I'm sitting there in this room full of chevra teachers, some of them are more known, some of them are less known. And I realized while people are there guarding, all these world leaders, and of course they should be protected. But as everyone respects these people, and they consider themselves so important, people consider them them so important. I realized the most powerful people for sure in the city, but in the world, I was sitting in that room with them. That room of people who have managed to connect to their soul. That's what Kabbalah does. It connects you to your soul. Who are the most powerful people in the world? Is not the ones with the most money or the most respect or the most influence. It is those who have the greatest connection to their soul, because that is your power. That is your strength. That's what the Zohar says. Your strength comes from your soul, and only your soul. Nowhere else. That is your strength. So when the Zohar says, and here Rav Ashlag summarized this so beautifully, what does this verse mean? That do whatever you can with all of your might. Use all of your power, all the power of your soul, because wherever most of our problems come from, every time we're reactive, it's like you take your soul and you invest it in garbage. You take your soul and you invest it in klipot. You take the light of your soul and you diminish, you dilute the power of your soul in temporary fulfillment. The Zohar is saying, no, use the power of your soul. Invest the power in your soul in things that are eternal, in things that will reveal light. Lasod masim tovim, to do positive actions, to do acts of sharing. Taseh ve'al titatzel, do it and don't be lazy. Don't let your ego make you lazy, right? Everything in your power to do, as the Zohar says, and don't not do. Don't be lazy about it. Ki az tizkeh lebet halamot, because then you will merit both worlds. It's when we really express and reveal the power of our soul. I know we're over time, and I know a lot of you are probably very tired. Just because we had some technical difficulties, we're just going to continue a little bit. I hope that's okay. It's the energy of Rabbi Shimon. And we're all in the same boat here, right? Okay, paragraph 75. Devalcher, another explanation. What is bechochacha? What does it mean with your power, with your strength? Before we just said in paragraph 74 that it represents the power of your soul. Now the Zohar is giving another explanation. Dahi isha dekaman. Here we're saying it represents the woman, which again means the Nukva, the Knesset Yisrael, the collective souls of humanity, the vessel in a state of its perfection, connection in a state of perfection, in its state of galut and greatness, as we said in paragraph 71. Because this power, this strength is the power of it to, it's this power and strength in this world, BaOmer, in this world of Amadate, and the world to come. And it's our job, it's our work to merit in this world through that power, with that strength, begin the takaf bahahu bahu alma. We're supposed to use that strength in order in this world, in order to merit, to overcome, to draw strength in order to receive and connect to the world to come. That's why here Rashi breaks down the verse again. That's why it says, I think I have this here. No, wait. Here. So now here again, the Zohar is giving another explanation. What does it mean, everything that's in your power? That's the Nukva, the Malchut. La'asot, what does it mean to do? That means that with the Nukva, with the power of the soul, the corrected vessel, that's our job to do positive actions in this world. Aseh means do those positive actions, and therefore you will merit spiritual life as well, not just physical blessings, but also spiritual blessings. Paragraph 76, and maybe we'll stop after this one. Maybe one more. Let's see. My Tama, and here's one of my favorite messages from today. What's the reason for this? Begin dilivata the ipok ba'anash mehalma. Because after a person leaves this world, right? Why is it that we need to? Rav Asher here adds in a note. Why is it that we need to make great effort with positive actions in this world? Why is it that this world has to be filled with sharing and kindness and love and restriction? And we can't just live our lives reactively as our lower self might want us to, but instead we're here to share, and with great strength we're supposed to express that loving, kind nature within our soul. Why is that great effort necessary? Why is the effort of transforming spiritual work? Why is it necessary in this world? Begin because when a person leaves this world, after a soul leaves this world, the soul leaves the body, the person's gone. Once a person leaves this world, once a soul leaves this world, they no longer have any power to do anything. The soul, now that it's not held down by the ego, the soul can now express its beautiful, sharing, divine nature. So now the soul says, now I'm going to go share. Not too late. There's no sharing outside of the body. There's no spiritual work in the light. The spiritual work happens in the darkness. The spiritual work happens in the uncertainty. The spiritual work happens in the mud, in this world. After we leave this world, there's no more spiritual work anymore. There's no more restriction. We'll read from the Pirkei Avot soon, but in the same chapter, I think it says, "Don't say that when I'm wealthy, then I'll be spiritual." Because someone who does spiritual work when they have less will eventually do the spiritual work when they have more. Someone who doesn't do the spiritual work when they have a lot will eventually not do the spiritual work when they have nothing. Right? I hope I phrased that correctly, or I hope that was clear enough. When we have the chance to share, when we're in this world, that's where the spiritual work takes place. It doesn't happen after. There is no chance after this life. There's no chance after the situation you're going through. That is your opportunity to share. And that's why in the verse we read before, whatever you have the power to do it. Because, as the verse says, there is no action, there is no reasoning, there is no learning and wisdom in Sheol, in hell. There is no process of transformation outside of this world. It only happens in this world. If a person does not merit in this world to do the spiritual work, a person will also not merit it in the world to come. That's also why we said every section of the Zohar that we study is what guides our soul, and even if we don't do it right, it still is what supports us. Because when a person's souls leave this world, they don't have that opportunity to make effort. There's no opportunity to transform. There's no opportunity to share. We've learned Mandala Atkin Zevadin Mehai Alma, and that's a famous saying in the Talmud. It comes up very often. Whoever doesn't prepare provisions for the journey, meaning for the journey from this world. He will not eat in the world to come, right? So the literal understanding of this verse normally is if you're going traveling and you don't prepare food to eat on the journey, you're not going to eat on the journey. You're not going to eat where you're going. Same thing. What nourishes us in the spiritual realm? Where does real blessing and light come from? It's it's the what are we preparing? All of our spiritual work in this life, all of our spiritual work in when our soul is in our body, is what is actually preparing that light of the work of my soul, so that when it's time for the soul to leave the body, what do I take with me? I don't take anything physical. A person leaves this world, doesn't take their body, doesn't take their home, doesn't take their family, doesn't take their possessions, doesn't take their position, doesn't take anything in this world. The only thing a person takes when they leave this world are their positive actions, the light that they revealed. So the Zohar is saying, whatever, while you're still in this world, do everything you can to reveal as much light as you can, because you can't do it after. That's one of the reasons, by the way, when a person leaves this world, the family does what they can to help support that soul in their process, right? So we give tzedakah in that person's name. We say positive things about them in their memory. We do different dedications, different things. We dedicate our positive actions and study and whatever to them, because they can't do it themselves. And us helping them brings great blessings in our lives, because we're doing something unconditional for another person. So a person who doesn't prepare for the journey won't eat. Whoever doesn't do their work in this world will not benefit in the world to come. Meaning, whoever doesn't do their spiritual work in the physical world will also not have a spiritual connection to the spiritual world. And there are actions, there are positive actions that a person can do in this world, that they can benefit while still in this world, but from these actions. They do receive benefit also in this reality. Nevertheless, even though they are receiving benefit in this world, nevertheless they still receive all the blessings from it in the world to come. And they are nourished from that. Because there's a concept in the Kabbalistic writings that, for example, the question of why do good things happen to bad people? Why do bad things happen to good people? Classic question, right? So there's many different ways the Kabbalists explain it. One of the things that the Kabbalists explain is that when a person acts in a negative way, they receive all of their blessings only in the physical world. Not on a soul level, not in the spiritual world, not the blessing that's there. But yeah, you know what? Fine, they'll have a lot of money. But there's no joy in that money. There's who knows what kind of soul process they're going to have to go through after. So that concept of, so then the opposite is also true, right? So it says like about tzaddikim, that they don't desire any blessings or benefit in this physical world because they want it all in the spiritual. Now, I'm going to read two sections here. I hope they have them here. So this is what I was saying from Pirkei Avot, from the Ethics of the Fathers. This is, I'll read through this quickly because we're behind schedule. This is from chapter 4, Mishnah 16 and 17, section 16 and 17. Rabbi Yaakov Amar. The first one is less relevant, but he's quoted there, and it also is related. He says, our world is a vegetable, I probably read that wrong, vestibule, I don't know. It's like a hallway. I think that's what that means. That's what I understand in Hebrew. It's like a hallway in the world to come. It's a passageway. Our world is just the passageway to the world to come. Prepare yourself in that hallway, in order so that you can enter the banquet hall. Right? So a lot of people think that this world is final destination. Let me just do everything I can. No, this is just a preparation for the spiritual. This is where we do our work. This is not where we settle down. This is not where we receive all of our blessings. This is where the work takes place. The blessings take place on a spiritual level. But then he continues and says, BaOmer, he would say, greater, more precious is 1 hour, 1 moment of teshuvah, of spiritual transformation and teshuvah, repentance and true change and restoring sparks of light, umasim tovim, and positive actions in this world. Mikol chayei haolam haba. One moment of a spiritual action in this world is worth more than all the blessings that a person can receive in the world to come. What does that mean? Because this is where light is only created in darkness. And then he continues, "V'yafa sha'a achat shel korat ruach ba'olam haba." And more precious is 1 hour of tranquility and blessings in the world to come, mikol chayei ha'olam hazeh, than all of the life in this world. Right? It sounds paradoxical, but that's how you know there's deep truth there. Imagine if you take all the pleasure a person can amass and experience in the physical world, and you combine all of that to that entire life of pleasure and joy and happiness, both with restriction, without restriction, doesn't matter. You take all of it and you put into one moment. That's only worth one moment in the spiritual realms of true fulfillment. True fulfillment is that's why he said, like, having 100% of the 1%. It's like 1% of the 99%, 1% of the 100%, right? So, but focusing on the middle part of this teaching, that our spiritual work, the work that we do in this world, the transformation that we go through, the 1 day of spiritual work, true spiritual work, one moment of real restriction, is an unimaginable revelation of light. Unimaginable revelation of light. And the second thing, Rav Ashlag here quoted this teaching, and again, I know we're over time, but here we are. So this is he quoted this teaching we say in the mornings. Elu dvarim she'en lahem shiur. Actually, we'll skip that part. Sorry. Elu dvarim she'adam ochel perotehen ba'olam hazeh ve'aken kayem l'olam haba. So there are certain things that a person can enjoy the fruits in this world, receive the blessings in this world while they're in this world, but the blessing continues in the world to come. They still receive the spiritual benefit of it. And these are what they are. Kibud ava'em, when a person respects, honors their parents. Ugmilut chasadim, any act of sharing, of kindness towards others. V'ahavat shalom ben adam lechavero, anytime you bring peace and make peace and love between friends. V'talmud Torah keneged kulam. I think it's missing uven ish leishto. That's how we say it, I think, in the morning. If you also bring peace between a couple, let me open it here. Yeah, in my text it has it also. There's a few more here. Another one here, uviku cholim, when you visit the poor, v'achnasat ochim, and when you welcome the guests, when you take care of guests and you're hospitable, v'ashkama beit knesset, and when you wake up for the connections and you join for the connections, v'avat shalom ben adam lechavero v'nish lishto, and when you bring peace between friends or between couples. And the last one, v'talmud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah, connection to the light of the Torah, is equal to all of them, which means all of these examples that we read and we gave are all ways that a person can experience the awakened blessings in their lives, and not only experience the blessing in their life, but draw great blessings on a spiritual level. And what draws the greatest? If you add up all of them, the study of the Torah. The study of the Torah is, again, not just the study of a text and reading things and being studious and filling your head with information and wisdom. It means making a connection to the tree of life, right? With a great effort and with great consciousness and with a great desire of transformation. It's equal to all the other aspects of the spiritual work that draw blessings into our lives. We're going to stop here. We'll continue with 77 tomorrow because we're going to speak about how Joseph, being the level channel of Yesod, how he was responsible for all of this and how he helped bring that about for the Israelites and how we can connect to that. So thank you guys for joining. Sorry again for some of the technical difficulties. Such a blessing to be able to connect on such a powerful day. The truth is, I could keep going. I would love to keep going, but we have to keep a time. But we can keep going, right? Meaning we don't have to continue on class. We should all continue connecting to the light of the Zohar throughout the day. Just because the all-night study is done, if it's done for you, for those on the West Coast, maybe it's not done yet, or even on the East Coast, it's still the middle of the night. Lag BaOmer does not end when the night study ends. Lag BaOmer continues all the way till sunset. So squeeze every ounce of energy and light that's available on this incredibly powerful day. It is possibly the holiest day of the year, especially for those of us who are connected to bring this light of the Zohar to the world, which, if we have that merit, have that blessing. So lots of love to everyone. Thank you once again for joining, and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Don't miss those actions that your soul can only have in this life, right? That's what we said. Don't miss those actions today. Find where those moments that you can share. Find those moments that you can do those positive actions, because after the moment's gone, after you leave this world, after you're in a different condition, different headspace, right? In the darkness is where the greatest light is revealed. Okay, lots of love, guys. See you soon.